All right, for our next amazing mapping exercise video, we are going to do another profile. As promised before, a lot of times the values, a lot of things are done for you for these. Like in this case, this interesting looking map is actually already done in terms of contour lines, so you don't actually have to draw the contour lines, which is great. So we're kind of just starting almost halfway done already. I like to call this my alien that got punched in the eye map because we have this weird looking situation going on, and we'll talk about what that means in just a second here. So real quick though, again, material wise, you want to use your pencil for this, certainly not pen. You're going to need a ruler or straight edge, possibly. It might help for certain situations. And of course, a regular, just clean, actually that's another map there, but another clean edged piece of paper that you can use to make your profile like we did before. For this, we've got a couple of housekeeping issues to do first. First of all, I see contour lines here and it says 700 and then 800 is over there. So we've got to figure out like what all of these mean right now. So if you can kind of guess, I mean, if you're here and you're 700 and then that's 800, you got one line in between. So that would be 750. Hopefully that makes sense. And we're assuming based on this little quote mark right there that these are all in feet. And we'll talk about this scale in just a sec too. So that's 800, this is 850. And I'm going to go over here now, 700, this is 750, this is 800, and this will be 850. And that's important. You need to know what your contour lines actually are, right? Now, with this, if you recall from the notes, these little hasher marks or tick marks that are on that contour line mean you actually have a dip or a drop in the line. So this is like a mountaintop, but it has a hole in the top of it, like a crater. So what that's going to look like is if you're walking from wherever on the edge of the map up this hill, you're going to hit 850, and then you're going to kind of go up over a little bump, and then you're going to head down into this actual crater. So this contour line right here, even though it has the tick marks, is again 850. You'll notice you always get two in a row when you get when you have hasher marks on it. So you, whatever the last contour line you had for an elevation that's regularly going up, you're going to repeat that number on the hasher mark line. So there we go. So they drew a line across. I remember we did this ourselves on the last map, but now they already drew the line that they want us to look at. So that's another step that you don't have to worry about. So we're going to take we're going to use this scale really quick first. Usually these are in miles, but apparently this is in feet, meaning if I walk from this point right there to that point right there, I would have walked 200 feet in the real world. So I'm just going to make a 0 and a 200 mark. I'm just going to come down here, and you could actually make a couple to speed this process up. Just do it a couple of times. That way it goes faster when you actually make the scale. We're going to make the horizontal distance scale using those tick marks right there. So we're starting all the way at the edge would be 0 feet. This is 200. This would be 400. This one would be 600. Then you can slide it over and see how far we get here. Here's 800. Here's 1,000, and then it just goes off the edge. So you can put 0, 200, 400, and these are in feet. We'll go back and label this in a second. This is 600, 800, and 1,000. Okay, so nice and easy, and then you can write distance. Now usually I'm telling you this is always almost in miles, but in this one it's in feet, which is weird because the elevations are also in feet. So on the side axis we're going to go elevation, and I'm going to put feet again. I used FT for feet this time. I don't know, you can do whatever you want. So the lowest elevation on here is 700. But based on the fact that there's space around that 700, and by the way, I should probably have labeled that. This is 750, this is also 700. There's space around here that is lower than 700, so you don't want to make 700 necessarily your first point here. So we might go, you gotta start something a little less than that. So let's try that, 650 maybe, so 650, 700, 750, 800, 850, 900, that would fit. So I'm going to make the lowest number 650, then we'll go up by 50s, just like this does. And that'll be that, and then 900 is there. All right, so we are ready to go and make our profile. So if you recall from the last video, we kind of figured out how to do that. You put a straight edge piece of paper across the line that they gave us here, and we're just going to go ahead and make tick marks every time we see a contour line cross behind my straight edge piece of paper. But I'm going to mark the edges of the map first. That's hugely important. I use big dark lines for that so that it prevents you from wiggling around. And if you do happen to wiggle around or the cat jumps on this like it might in a few minutes here for me, you can always put it back where it belongs. Okay, so I see contour lines disappearing behind my paper right here, right here, right here. Even the hash mark one counts. And so you just go across, make your ticks. Notice I'm going a lot faster this time because I know you all know how to do this from the first video, so we'll speed it up. But I just wanted you to see some interesting things happen with this one. And so now you go back and you label each tick mark. So the first one was 750. So if you kind of put that back and say, hey, what was that? You kind of just peel your paper off and you'll, oh, that was 750. So that's 750, 800, 850. And we said these guys were both 850. So we're actually going to have 4 of those in a row, 850, 850, 850. Weird, right? And then this goes back down 800, 750, 750 again. And then it goes back up by 50s, 800, 850, another 850, because that one's the little circular one that goes around. And then this is the 800 looping back around. And that's what that looks like. So there we go. We didn't really need the 650 or 700, but hey, it works. It'll look nice. Okay, so now you go down and you start plotting points. Again, you just kind of line this up so that it stays on the edge of the, the 2 vertical lines that we have on this little grid thing. And you just slide it up and down to wherever you want to plot dots. So first one is 750. It happens right there. Now, as you get faster at this, you can almost draw this up there if you wanted, but still you can move it if you want to make sure you're maintaining your accuracy and precision there. And then we move up. Now here's where it gets faster, because you can save yourself a little bit of time by going 850, 850, 850, 850. But I could have also done that for 800. This is just a way to speed things up if you're getting good at this. 800, I go across until I see another 800 and mark it. Here's another one, mark it. Here's another one over here, mark it. So now we're kind of doing it all at once, but you just got to be careful you don't forget points, because I've done that and you don't want to miss out on stuff. So I did all the 850s. I did my 800s. So 750, I could have done that right away. 750, you go across, you find them all and just mark them off. Make that a little darker there. 750 again right there. And I think, oh, I forgot some 850s there, so you gotta go up to 850. I should have marked, there were 4 there. There were 2 more over here. I should have marked them. All right. So there you go. There's your dots, and they're ready to go. And now we do our actual contour, or our line, our graph for what this land would look like. So over here, like I said, 750, if you were to walk from point A there, over to the first line, that would be going from something less than 750 and up to 750, and it was to keep increasing. So what you want to do is come onto the map a little below 750, like that. And then you're good to go. And you just smoothly connect until you get to here. This is where it gets weird. Because remember, these are all 850, but is this flat across the entire top of this mountain? No, we said there's a crater in there, and we also don't ever go flat on a profile like this. The land from here, let's see if we can pretend we're taking a little walk here. If I was at 850, I would walk this way. I would increase a little bit, and then I would go back down to 850. So it's going to make a little bump. Not a big bump, but a little one. Then it's going to go down, and we're going to talk about that. It'll go down into the crater, which we'll talk about how deep to draw that in just a second. But then on the other side, again, if you're coming back out here, you're at 850, you're going to go up and then back down to 850 and then down to 800 and so on and so on. So there's going to be another bump right there. Okay, so how deep do I make the crater? Do I want to make it go way down there? I doubt that, because if it were any deeper than what is shown, I'd like you to use your imagination here. if it went deeper than, so we're at 850 here, if it went down to as low as 800 feet, there would be another contour line in there with little hash marks on it. So that's not there, so we don't want to draw it. Definitely not any lower than 800, because that wouldn't make any sense. But you can just estimate. It probably does something like that. And notice I'm nowhere near 800, so we're safe there. The rest of it, we're going to keep drawing like this. Now what happens here? I'm at 750. That's this area right there that I'm worried about, 750. And then it's a 750 again. Well, what happens in between these two things? Well, these areas are somewhere around 700, so it's going to dip a little and come back up. And then over here on the hilltop, there's 850 again, but this is a hilltop, this is not a crater, this is just a normal mountain, so maybe this is a volcano that hasn't erupted yet or something, we don't know. But it make a little bump. Notice I don't go any higher than 900, because if there was a 900, there would be another contour line in there, and there isn't. So we don't have to make that bump so big that it goes high above, up near where 900 is. And then you just finish this off. Again, you're 800 here, you're headed toward, you can almost imagine there would be a 750 line right there. You're going down, so you just want to keep going down here as well. Okay, so that's it. That's a, kind of an exercise in making a profile that's sort of mostly done for you, but you're also going to notice that we will need to do this kind of a thing when we actually take our lab test. So this is good practice for that. If you want, print another one and try it again and see how you do. I don't know. Whatever works for you, you can do this as many times as you want. You can pause the video, go back, listen to how it was done. But that's what you get. And I know this part is a little strange, but if you think about what a real volcano looks like, that's what it does. I mean, you have the rim of the crater, and then the other rim on the other side. So that's it.